Hello to everyone, my name is Sebastián Narváez. Today we are going to talk about verbals in Spanish, the differences and the similarities. Okay, first we have to start with the definition. In both English and Spanish, verbals are forms of verbs that are not finite, meaning that they do not function as the main verb in a clause. They do not agree with a subject in person or number, and are used in various roles such as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. Now first we have to talk about the form and the usage of them. First we are going to start with the infinitives. We have in English the infinitive form is to plus the verb. An example, to eat, to run, to wash, to jump. In Spanish the infinitive form is the base verb ending in R, er, or ir. An example, we have comer, correr, vivir. In the gerunds, we have English and Spanish. The gerund form in English is creating by adding ing to the base verb. An example, eating, running, washing, jumping, eating. In Spanish, the gerund form is created by adding ando to are verbs and yendo to er and ir verbs. For example, comiendo, corriendo, viviendo. Now we have the participles in English and Spanish. Of course, we have in present participle and past participle. In the present participle is the same as the gerund form ending in ing. Example, eating, running, jumping. In Spanish, there is no direct equivalent to the English present participle. The gerund serves as both the gerund and present participle. In the past participle in English, the past participle typically ends in ed for regular verbs and varies for irregular verbs. For example, eating, eaten, run. In Spanish, the past participle ends in ando for are verbs and ido for er and ir verbs. Example, comido, corrido, vivido. Now we have to continue with the usage. As nouns, in English, infinitives and gerunds can function as nouns. Infinitives can act as subjects or objects. For example, to eat is necessary. She likes to run. Gerunds also act as subjects or objects. Example, eating is fun and I enjoy running. In Spanish, infinitives can function as nouns and often do. Example, comer es necesario, le gusta correr. Gerunds are not used as nouns in Spanish. That's one of the difference between both of them, as we can see. We also have them as adjectives. As adjectives in English, present and past participles can function as adjectives. Example, the running water, a broken vase. In Spanish, the present participles are not used as adjectives. Past participles are commonly used as adjectives and agree in gender and number with the noun they modify. Example, el agua corriente, el jarrón roto, las ventanas cerradas. Now we have also as adverbs. In English, infinitives and present participles can function as adverbs. Example, he came to help, running quickly, he reached the finish line. In Spanish, infinitives are not used as adverbs. Gerunds can function as adverbs, describing the manner of the action. Example, vino para ayudar, corriendo rápidamente, o llegó a la meta. Now we have key difference. We can use some tricks to try to understand better the way we can see that they are different. For example, gerunds in Spanish are not used as nouns, whereas in English they frequently serve this role. Present participles in English serve as both gerunds and present participles, whereas in Spanish the gerund form does not double as an adjective. In past participles in both languages function similarly as adjectives, but in Spanish they must agree in gender and number with the noun they modify. That's some difference that we can see. Now the similarities that we have between English and Spanish. For example, both languages use infinitives similarly as nouns, often functioning as subject or objects. Past participles in both languages can serve as adjectives and must agree with the noun they modify in gender and number. In Spanish, infinitives in both languages can be used adverbially to express purpose. We have to understand, understanding these nuances can enhance comprehension and usage of verbals in both English and Spanish, leading to more precise and effective communication. It's really important that we understand the differences and the similarities between English and Spanish, so we can use in a better way the language, so we can communicate effectively with other people all the time. Now the final thoughts for this presentation is that verbals in English and Spanish share fundamental similarities, but also exhibit distinct differences that shape their usage in each language. Both languages feature infinitives, gerunds, and participles, which serve as versatile tools within sentences. In English, gerunds and present participles share the ing form, whereas in Spanish employs gerunds primarily as adverbs, not as nouns. Infinitives in both languages function as nouns and can be used to express purpose, highlighting their parallel roles. However, Spanish lacks a direct equivalent to the English present participle as an adjective, relying instead on past participles that agree in gender and number with nouns they modify. English past participles, while also used adjectively, do not require such agreement. These distinctions underscore the importance of context and grammatical rules specific to each language. Understanding these differences and similarities enhances language proficiency, enabling learners to navigate the complexities of verbal in both English and Spanish with greater accuracy and fluency. I really consider that this is a really important topic that students and also we as teachers, we need to understand the similarities between and the differences also between Spanish and English, adjectives, gerunds, adverbs, so we can communicate, like I said, effectively in English, now that this is the most important language all over the planet, I consider. Wherever we are, if we know English, we can communicate everywhere, and that's one advantage that we have if we know how to use the language properly. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. I hope to see you next time in the next video. Thank you very much.